Thank you, Congressman. Our next speaker, Congressman Stephen F. Lynch, was elected to the United States Congress in 2001 following the passing of Congressman John Joseph Moakley. In the 112th Congress, Congressman Lynch sits on the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, where he serves as the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Federal Workforce, United States Postal Service, and Labor Policy. Congressman Lynch also sits on the Committee of Financial Services. As a member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee and as co-chair of the Task Force on Terrorism and Proliferation Financing, Congressman Lynch travels extensively overseas and has traveled to Iraq and Afghanistan on numerous occasions. He's also the co-founder of the Congressional Labor and Working Families Caucus, which was formed to protect workers' rights and educate members of Congress on issues that impact American families. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Congressman Stephen F. Lynch.
Thank you. Thank you, Postmaster Jim Holland, Reverend Clergy, Father Kelly, my colleagues in government, Senator Chang Diaz. I also saw Councilor Matt O'Malley here earlier. I want to thank them for their attendance as well. I also, before the ceremony, saw a couple of our Gold Star mothers. I know Maureen O'Hare is here, and also the president of the Gold Star Mothers Association, Chris Devlin, is also here. I want to thank her for both of them for their support of the Arredondo family. It's an honor to be with you today, and I want to thank also my friends from the Postal Service and also Mayor Menino and Congressman Capuano for really putting all of this work together. It took a while. It actually began some time ago with our great friend and dear Senator Ted Kennedy, who actually got the ball rolling on this, and then Mike Capuano took over from there and made sure that this bill got passed and that the work from the side of Congress was completed. It's said that there is loyalty in the simple act of remembrance. So today we gather to remember Lance Corporal Alex Arredondo, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Arredondo grew up here in Jamaica Plain. His childhood home is right down the street. The intersection of St. Rose and South Streets in front of his childhood home is now dedicated to honor his brave service and sacrifice for our country. I also represent the town of Norwood, where Alex spent his teen years, and he is remembered there quite fondly by Ted Mulvihill, who's here today, our veterans agent in Norwood. He and the family remembered Alex with a corner memorial, a Heroes Circle at Ivy Circle and Walpole Street, near where Alex lived as a teenager. Lance Corporal Arredondo enlisted in the Marines at 17, right after he graduated from the Blue Hills Regional Technical High School. He was serving his second tour in Iraq when he was mortally wounded. He was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart and the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with the Combat V. Alex was killed in action while checking on the security of his fellow soldiers, which is a testament to his bravery, his courage, and his selflessness. Today we honor his service and his memory. Lance Corporal Arredondo represented the very best of the United States of America. As we know, when one person serves in our military, the whole family serves. And that cannot be understated. On a personal note, my mother-in-law, Helen Shaughnessy, who lives with me now, with my wife and our girls, she's a Gold Star sister. Her brother, Arnie Bailey, was killed in Second World War just at the very, very end, weeks away from the end of World War II, victory in Europe. He died in his first combat jump, 82nd Airborne, over the Rhine. just weeks before the end of World War II in Europe. And living with the Shaughnessy family, and Mrs. Shaughnessy in particular, she had signed. He too had enlisted at age 17. And in those days, you needed the signature of a parent to sign up early. And so my mother-in-law, Arnie's sister, had signed on behalf of Arnie. It allowed him to serve. And witnessing the burden that the Bailey family and the Shaughnessy family have carried, it's over 60 years now. But every holiday, every birthday, every Veterans Day, every Memorial Day, he was killed right around Christmas. That burden is carried, and it lives in their hearts. And I can honestly say that the only relief that I've seen in my mother-in-law's heart and in her eyes is from the fact that she knows that the sorrow that she feels in her heart, and the sadness and the loss, she knows that it is shared. It is shared by the people in her community in South Boston, by the people of the city of Boston, and she knows it is shared by this country. It is our only hope today that for the Arredondo family and the Foley family, that they understand that their loss of Alex is shared by all of us, by the community here in Jamaica Plain, by our city and state, and indeed by our country. This is a true testament of a shining example of what's the best about America. As a nation, we have a responsibility and a duty to honor and remember the men and women who answered the call to service and who, like Alex, have made the ultimate sacrifice. President Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers." It should fill our hearts with pride to think that our nation will be judged on the character and the courage of young men like Lance Corporal Arredondo. Future generations of Jamaica Plain residents will know who Alex Arredondo was, and they will know of his courage and that he gave his life in service to our country. I want to thank all of you for coming here today to share the day with Lance Corporal Arredondo's family. Your presence here reflects what is truly the best of America, that we as Americans do not and will not forget those who have served. May God bless Lance Corporal Arredondo. May God bless our armed services who are serving all around the world, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Lynch.